Think back to the last time you locked eyes with someone and felt as if the entire universe was staring back at you. Not just a gaze, but a depth, as if your very soul had just been touched. Ever wonder why eyes have the power to move us so deeply? Carl Jung once said that in the eyes of another we often meet ourselves, not just the everyday self, but the archetypal self, ancient, vast, and far beyond our personal consciousness. The eyes, even though their physical structures, bear the signature of the collective unconscious. Each eye color, each hue, is like a symbolic map encoded by your soul long before you knew your name. This isn't mysticism. It's not superstition. Jung, after a lifetime of studying the psyche through dreams, myths, and sacred symbols, began to see the unconscious doesn't just speak through dreams, or art it speaks through the body too, and nowhere more clearly than the eyes. You might think eye color is just about genetics. But imagine this. What if every human being is born carrying an archetypal imprint in their eyes, like a seal left by the soul itself before the ego ever formed? In today's video, we're not just talking about eye color. We're entering a deeper space, a symbolic space where color becomes meaning and the soul speaks through pattern. We're talking about archetypes, your soul's mission written in your iris. If you have brown eyes, you may carry the energy of earth, the stabilizer, the ancient healer, the holder of space. If you have blue eyes, you might be the one who sees through illusion, the truth seer, the light bringer. If you have green eyes, you may be the catalyst, the one who shows up when transformation is ready to happen. If you have hazel eyes, you may be the living mirror, the shapeshifter who reflects others' potential while constantly evolving. We won't just explore what each of these patterns means, we'll go deeper into why so many people feel lost in life, not because they've made wrong choices, but because they've been living against the grain of their souls. Archetypal pattern. Jung called this loss of connection to the self, the deep, true core of our being. And the journey back often begins with a single realization that the thing you thought was just a trait might actually be a calling. In the next section, we'll explore the first archetype, the Earth Keepers, those with brown eyes. And if you think brown eyes are too common to hold depth, think again. Jung believed that the deepest wisdom often hides in plain sight. So keep watching, because if you've ever felt like someone could see straight through you, or if you've ever been drawn to someone before they spoke a single word, then you might already be closer to your soul's mission than you realize. In the architecture of the soul, few things are as overlooked yet as profoundly sacred as brown eyes. In a culture obsessed with what sparkles, glows, and dazzles, brown eyes are often dismissed as ordinary. But within Jungian psychology, the ordinary is never what it seems. The soul hides not in brilliance, but in symbolic density, and brown, the color of the earth, holds perhaps the most ancient density of all. Before we explore the deeper meaning of brown eyes, let us first understand what Carl Jung truly meant by archetype. It is one of the most misused words in modern spirituality. An archetype is not your personality type. It is not your enneagram. It is not your trauma, your habits, or even your soul's unique voice. In Jung's view, an archetype is a primordial pattern of psychic energy, a structure of the collective unconscious that predates the individual. These archetypes are not chosen, they are inherited. They live within the human psyche, the same way instincts live within the animal body. Think of them as blueprints of human experience. They appear across cultures, religions, and mythologies: the mother, the hero, the trickster, the wise old man. They are eternal roles, and we each embody some combination of them in our life story. Your eye color from a symbolic perspective is not who you are. It is the archetypal pattern your soul has volunteered to embody in this lifetime. It's not your full identity, but it points to the role you're meant to inhabit in the collective drama of humanity. Brown-eyed individuals are the keepers of grounded wisdom. They carry the frequency of earth, soil, and root. Jung might have seen them as living embodiments of the Great Mother archetype, not limited to gender, but to a function in the psyche, the one who nurtures, stabilizes, heals, and holds space for growth. These people often find themselves naturally drawn to the role of the caregiver, teacher, counselor, or protector, not because they were told to, but because something in them has always known I am here to hold the center when others fall apart. But this gift is not always easy to carry. Just like the earth absorbs every step, every wound, every war, so do brown-eyed people often absorb others' pain. They become the emotional container in families, the strong friend in crisis, the listener who never speaks of their own needs. This is the shadow of the earth archetype, the compulsion to hold everything even when they themselves are breaking. Jung wrote of the danger in over-identifying with an archetype. When we become possessed by it, when we serve the archetype without self-awareness, we lose our individuality. For brown-eyed earthkeepers, the risk is self-erasure through constant caretaking. But when this archetype is lived consciously, brown-eyed individuals become pillars of stability in a collapsing world. They create fields of emotional safety wherever they go. They embody the wisdom of ancestors, the patience of forests, the resilience of mountains. They are not flashy. They are not loud. But when they speak, you feel the ground steady beneath your feet. So how do you know if this archetype is active in you? You often feel like the one who holds it all together. Strangers tell you things they've never told anyone else. You feel inexplicably responsible for others' well-being. Children and animals are drawn to you without reason. You feel older than your age, as if you've carried a long history in your bones. These signs aren't random. They're archetypal echoes. And once you learn to recognize them, you stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking, "What am I here to hold?" But holding others is not your only task. The deeper calling of the earth archetype is to root into your own center so that others don't uproot you. Your mission is not to rescue the world. It is to embody a rooted way of being, solid, so wise, so alive, that others remember how to come home to themselves. If this resonates with you, if you've always felt like the emotional anchor in the storm, or the one who gives more than they receive, I invite you to share your story in the comments. Where are you watching from? What is the one thing your brown eyes have always seen clearly, even when the world refused to believe you? Let's build a community of earthkeepers. Because in a world spinning faster than the soul can process, we need people who remember how to slow down, listen, and ground others in love. If you're someone who's been told you're too sensitive, too responsible, or too much of a giver, you're not too much. You're ancient, and your eyes carry the evidence. Let us know in the comments if you've ever felt this archetype stirring inside you. Let others with brown eyes find you and know they're not alone. But not every soul was sent to anchor. Some were sent to illuminate, to cut through lies like a blade through fog, to pierce masks and demand truth even when it hurts. If brown eyes ground, blue eyes reveal. In the next part, we'll journey into the archetype of the truth seer, those who carry the mission of perception, clarity, and awakening. The blue-eyed watchers, the ones who see what others pretend not to. If you've ever felt like you can read people before they speak, If you ever felt burdened by knowing too much, then stay with us. Because your mission isn't to judge, it's to liberate truth. Let's keep going. Beneath every pair of brown eyes lies a myth as old as time. It's the myth of the mother. Not just the literal mother, but the universal archetype that Jung identified as one of the most powerful symbols in the human psyche. To truly understand the mission of brown-eyed souls, we must journey into the depths of this archetype, the Great Mother, the Earth Goddess, the primordial caregiver. She is not always gentle. She is not always nurturing, but she is always foundational. A woman once shared a dream in therapy. I was walking through a forest made entirely of bones bleached white and ancient. But as I stepped forward, the bones crumbled into soil. From the soil, flowers grew. Then I looked down at my hands and saw that they had turned into roots. This dream, in Jungian terms, is not just personality, is archetypal. It speaks of death and rebirth of trauma turned into soil of survival, transmuted into nourishment. This is the journey of the brown-eyed soul. They don't just carry wounds, they compost them. Brown-eyed individuals often report feeling like old souls, and it's no coincidence. They carry what Jung called ancestral memory, psychic imprints that go beyond their personal life. They are the ones who feel everything, but speak little, who sense the storm before it arrives, who prepare the emotional ground so others can grow. But the question is, who holds space for them? The Earth Mother archetype isn't all light. In its shadow form, it becomes the martyr, the overgiver, the one who loses themselves in the needs of others. This is where so many brown-eyed souls feel the fracture. They grow up being the strong one, the one others lean on. But in private, they may feel invisible, drained, trapped in roles they never consciously chose. The over-identified mother forgets she is also a being. She nurtures others, but no one nurtures her. She becomes soil that gives endlessly until it erodes. If you resonate with this, you're not alone. Jung believed that we must become conscious of our archetypal identifications. When we bring awareness to the archetype operating within us, we no longer serve it blindly, we integrate it. We become not just caretakers, but whole human beings who can give without losing ourselves. There's a reason indigenous cultures called the Earth Mother. In symbolic psychology, the Earth doesn't just hold physical life, she holds psychic life. The brown eyes are an extension of this containment. They hold emotion, hold trauma, hold lineage. When you look into brown eyes, you may feel time slow down. You may feel your body relax. You may feel the ache of being seen without being judged. This is the healing field of the Earth archetype. Jung might say that those with brown eyes carry an inner gravity. Their soul doesn't shout, it listens. It doesn't fight, it absorbs. And in doing so, it transforms chaos into calm. But this is why they must learn to set boundaries. The mother must know when to give and when to rest, when to open and when to say no. If you have brown eyes and you've ever felt like the emotional sponge in your family or the one who carries unspoken grief for generations, please share your voice in the comments. What do your eyes see that others don't? Have you had dreams, visions, or feelings of being an emotional anchor? Let's honor this together. Let this space become a virtual hearth, a place where Earth souls find each other. Comment where you're from. Share your favorite moment of holding space for someone and what it taught you about yourself. Your story may help another brown-eyed soul remember their worth. Let's build a global network of archetypal mothers, healers, and grounders so that none of us carry the weight alone. But not everyone was sent to hold. Some souls were sent to see, to perceive what lies beneath the surface, to read truth in silence, to tear away masks not with judgment, but with clarity. These are the truth seekers, often marked by eyes of ice and sky, blue-eyed beings who serve not as containers, but as revealers. If you've ever been told you're too intense, if people either love you or avoid you, without explanation, the next section is for you. Because your gift isn't just sight, it's discernment. And the world needs your vision more than ever. Let's go there together. When you meet someone with piercing blue eyes, there's often a moment of stillness, as if the air pauses and something deeper flickers into view. Their gaze feels like a doorway, not to judgment, but to the unvarnished heart of reality. In Jungian psychology, the blue-eyed soul awakens an archetype far older than any personal story. It calls us into something primal, sacrificially honest, luminously clear. Jung's archetypes are not mental constructs. They are energetic currents flowing through the human unconscious. One of the most potent of these is the seer truth seer, closely related to the mythic prophet and the liminal messenger Hermes. Hermes, with his winged feet, is the bridge between worlds, the divine and the mortal, the hidden and the known. Blue-eyed individuals mirror this archetype. They carry a foot in the threshold. Their eyes don't just observe, they translate. They pierce illusions, speak through veils of uncertainty, and carry a subtle vibration of clarity. The third eye symbolism. A spiritual gateway for inner vision finds its reflection in their gaze. These souls may not call themselves visionaries, but their presence unsettles illusions. They invite authenticity, cut through pretense, and create space for silent truth. Dreams become a nightly testament to their inner work. They speak in languages of light and water, unmistakable symbols of cleansing and awareness. One dream shared in a Jungian group brought a hush across the room. I'm in a gray city, empty dead. Then I see a street lamp flicker on. It pulses white light. I step forward. Each step, the ground brightens. The lamp's glow touches a puddle and reveals my reflection, not my face, but a deep eye shining into my own. Here, light dissolves darkness. Reflection reveals deeper seeing. Water becomes the mirror of soul knowing. The dream is not a metaphor. It is a psychic blueprint unfolding. Blue-eyed souls often wake wet, having dreamt of rain washing away walls, or by lakes where the surface shatters and reveals a hidden message. Water cleanses. Water clarifies. It reflects what is. And the blue-eyed truth seer uses this psychic water to dissolve illusions both within and around. Yet truth can crush fragile comfort. Living in truth seer skin means every lie, every half-truth, every hidden motive, even within yourself, becomes unbearable. Friends might tease, "You're too blunt," or avoid you altogether. You carry the burden of clarity in places others have yet to see it. That knot of isolation becomes the shadow of your gift. You become the one who sees and the one who stands apart. Jung warned, must we carry the burden of truth alone? The answer lies in integrating the archetype with compassion. To be a true prophet, you need more than vision. You need loving presence. You need to reveal gently. You need to hold the tension between piercing clarity and human tenderness. Truth untempered becomes judgment. Insight ungrounded turns harsh. The trickster in the shadow of Hermes will mock clarity, but the light of conscious truth must be embodied in kindness. So if you're watching with baby blue eyes or dark sapphire irises, know this: your sight is not a malfunction, it's a mission. Tell us your story. Have you ever pulled someone aside to say, "Please don't hide from yourself. Did a dream ever leave you soaked in rain, feeling like your consciousness just washed away illusions? Have people called you intense or hard to be around? You belong in this circle. Let this be your sanctuary of clarity, a place where seeing deeply becomes a shared gift, not a lonely burden. Comment your experience. Where are you watching from? Let your clarity echo so another truth seer knows they're not alone. Before you go, here's a whisper of what's next. There are souls who don't just reveal, they ignite. They walk into rooms and shift atmospheres. Their presence cracks shells. Their words catalyze growth. These are the green-eyed catalysts, architects of transformation triggered by threshold moments. In the next section, we'll explore how these souls marked by verdant eyes exist between worlds, how they hold the spark of alchemical change, and how this charge can either burn through old forms or accidentally burn themselves out. So if your life is marked by miraculous shifts, breakthroughs at sudden moments, or the uncanny ability to disrupt and heal simultaneously, stay with us. Because your story is just beginning, let's walk this together. When a person with green eyes enters a space, something shifts. Not necessarily in a loud or dramatic way, but like the first crack of thunder before the rain. Breath catches, energy stirs, life moves. In Jungian psychology, this phenomenon aligns with the archetype of the catalyst, the one who ignites transformation within others. Across cultures and mythologies, this role blends the trickster, the magician, and the messenger Hermes, a bridge between known and unknown order and chaos. The trickster defies expectations, he disrupts stagnation. Loki Coyote, Anansi, boundary-bursting spirits who provoke growth through disruption. The magician masters transformation, he turns base materials into gold. Think Merlin Thoth, Hermes, Trismegistus, the ancient guide of alchemical wisdom. These figures are not villainous, they are the sacred agents of evolution. They appear at threshold moments. They're uncomfortable and compelling. They don't allow you to remain who you are. Green-eyed souls carry this energy deeply. Their presence is a spark. Their words carry heat. Whether consciously or unconsciously, they initiate processes of metamorphosis within themselves and others. In ancient Egyptian lore, Thoth, the ibis-headed god of knowledge and transformation, shapes worlds with words and symbols. He is a drive toward intellect and renewal, urging us to recreate ourselves through conscious language. A green-eyed person might dream I'm weaving a tapestry by moonlight. The threads are dull gray strands of my old life. With each weave, a single emerald thread appears. At sunrise, the tapestry is alive, and I wake holding a golden needle. This dream speaks of internal alchemy. Gray life is being irradiated with green threads, symbols of catalysis, creativity, renewal. Another story, a woman with green eyes told me of a dream where frogs rained down from a tree. At first, she panicked. Then the frogs transformed into birds and flew away, leaving behind fresh leaves on every branch. She woke with a pulse of electricity in her limbs, knowing something within had shifted. These are not arbitrary images. They are archetypal signals of renewal of threshold, crossings of meta-identity being birthed. At the center lies a tension, the need to break down so breakthrough can occur. Catalysts may feel restless. Their souls whisper of change even when life seems pleasant. You may have whispered to yourself, "Something inside me needs to die before I can truly feel alive." Or every time I feel at peace, something inside me pulls hard toward the unknown. This is your archetype speaking. Jung would call it the tension between the ego and the self, the self calling for rebirth and renewal while the ego resists. Catalytic green-eyed people often walk a lonely path. After a breakthrough, they may find themselves abandoned or misunderstood. Partners may say, "You changed." Friends may drift. Because transformation unsettles stability, it shakes the nest to make room for flight. Yet this is the gift: to bring ignition to human collective evolution. Whether it's a puzzle cracked, a truth revealed, a new path discovered, catalysts are the ones who breathe fire into old forms. But without conscious integration, the catalyst becomes the anarch, the destroyer, or the restless saboteur. Emotional wreckage follows every shift. Creativity becomes chaos. Relationships crack. To integrate green-eyed souls must learn to hold transformation softly. To become both fire starter and safe container, they must marry the trickster's gift with the magician's discipline. They must speak renewal and then wait for the growth to settle. Jung wrote, "Every transformation must be followed by a time of settling. Without rest, every renewal becomes a relapse." So the green-eyed must practice deep stillness, build structures that hold change, cultivate patience. Because transformation without grounding is wildfire. Are you someone with green eyes or greenish shades, or find yourself drawn to moments of change? Did you wake one day and feel, "I am not who I was yesterday"? Share your transformational story in the comments. What was your biggest catalyzed breakthrough? Have you ever felt both exhilarated and afraid of your own change? What helps you feel safe during radical transformation? Let's build a global cohort of catalysts, a community where transformation is honored, not abandoned, where green sparks are protected from burning out. But not every soul is meant to catalyze. Some are meant to shape, to adapt, to mirror, to hold potential and reflect it back. These are your hazel-eyed shapeshifters. They exist between forms. They shift like smoke, take color from context, and reveal hidden gifts in others. They are the bridges of collective psyche, melding earth, water, fire, and air within their gaze. If you've ever felt like you're different in every room, like you can play whatever role others need, but never quite find your own, then Part 5 is your mirror. We're just getting started. Let's keep walking. There is a subtle power in hazel eyes, a power of mirroring, blending, and reflecting that feels both elusive and magnetic. Hazel-eyed individuals don't just exist in identity. They embody a threshold, a dynamic blend of archetypal energies. They are shapeshifters of consciousness, divine mirrors of untapped potential. In the nightly theater of the psyche, hazel-eyed individuals often appear at the edge of dreams, standing at lake shores, deep forests, or mirror-filled halls, watching as their reflection shifts between forms. One recurrent dream from a hazel-eyed volunteer in a Jungian group goes like this: I stand before a hall of mirrors. In each reflection, I wear a different face: healer, lover, warrior, teacher. I step forward and the mirrors ripple. Suddenly I see not just one face, but everyone's face staring back. This is pure shapeshifter symbolism at work. The dream isn't about confusion, it's a claim to transformation, a call to reflect and integrate multiple potentials. Hazel-eyed souls don't lose themselves. They give others permission to see the many faces they hold within. Even water shows up in these dreams' rivers that change color as they curve pools that take on the hues of whoever looks into them. Reflection becomes the symbol of unseen possibility. What if I can be more than one thing? What if I can evolve? Jung devotes a significant portion of Mysterium Conjunctionis to the figure of Mercurius, the alchemical trickster god who unites opposites light and shadow, earth, and sky, conscious and unconscious. Mercurius is mercurial. He is water-like fluid, adaptable, boundary-blurring. Hazel-eyed individuals often channel this archetype. They are living Mercuries gifted at holding paradox. Mercurius is also a healer, the mirroring agent within the psyche that reflects the unrecognized self. Just as Mercury in alchemy reflects whatever vessel it's in, a hazel-eyed person reflects the inner world of whoever stands before them. This reflection can be gentle. You might hear someone say, "You helped me see myself more clearly," or it can be jarring. "You showed me a part of me I'd never met and I didn't like it in the beginning." In dreams, Mercurius may appear as a mirror-coated figure, a snake shedding its skin, or a river that reverses its flow. These are archetypal signals calling hazel-eyed souls toward their mission to reveal potentials, not to define them. At their core, hazel-eyed individuals face a tension: how to reflect without losing the self, how to adapt without becoming reactive. They flow through emotional waves, at times deeply empathic, at other times detached. They learn to dance with roles: the mentor, the confidant, the challenger. But when reflections come too fast, they risk losing the thread of their own identity. Jung spoke of integration, not mere balance. Hazel-eyed souls aren't asked to be consistent. They are invited to be centered amidst fluidity. They are learning to hold self-awareness while shape-shifting and to assist others in recognizing their own reflections. Are you someone with hazel eyes, or who often adapts so seamlessly to others that you forget your own desires? Have people ever said, "You just know me," or asked, "Who are you today?" Share your reflections. What was the most surprising role you found yourself playing? Have you ever seen your own reflection in someone's eyes? How do you stay grounded when your roles keep changing? Let's build a circle of shapeshifters, a sanctuary for those who embody many forms but seek a singular center. Hazel-eyed souls, stand up. Your gift is a mirror for collective transformation. You've traveled through the archetypes, earth keepers, truth seekers, catalysts, and now shapeshifters. Each eye color revealed a migration of the soul's mission. But what happens when someone has multiple colors, hazel brown or green blue, or when your path calls you to combine these archetypes? In the conclusion, we will weave these threads together, examining how your soul may hold multiple archetypal calls and what it means to live with complexity, not confusion. Because life isn't about choosing one mission, it's about embracing layered embodiment. And in the tapestry of your iris, all the threads meet. Let's finish this journey honoring complexity as the hallmark of the individuated self. There comes a moment, quiet, intimate, like standing before a mirror you didn't know was there, when everything you've heard settles not just in your mind, but in your bones. If you've watched this far, this is that moment. And maybe, just maybe, something ancient in you is awakening. From the earthy gaze of brown eyes to the piercing clarity of blue, from the soul-stirring emerald of green to the ever-shifting hazel reflections, you have seen that your eyes are more than pigmentation. They are portals. They are symbols of an archetype your soul chose long before you had a name. But more than that, they are promises, vows, your deeper self made with the collective, with the divine, with time itself. You are not random. You were not thrown into this world by accident. You carry a mission etched in light, in pigment, in myth. And now that you've remembered, how will you live? Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This journey, through eye colors, archetypes, myths, and metaphors, has not been about predicting your destiny. It has been about reclaiming authorship of your story. Because when you understand your archetype, you begin to choose differently. The empath with brown eyes learns to protect her own sacred energy. The truth seer with blue eyes learns to offer truth with compassion. The catalyst with green eyes learns to trust the timing of transformation. The mirror with hazel eyes learns to reflect without dissolving. You start living aligned, not forced, rooted, not scattered, awake. If something resonated, if there was a line, a metaphor, or a memory that stirred your soul, leave it in the comments below. Not for me, but for you and for the others watching who need to know they're not alone. This channel exists as more than a stream of videos. It's a living circle, a digital agora of seekers, healers, old souls, visionaries, mirrors. And you, yes, you belong here. So subscribe if your intuition tells you this is home. And maybe send this video to someone whose eyes have always held a mystery you couldn't explain until now. This wasn't the end. It never is. Each archetype, each reflection, each eye is part of something larger. In our next video, we'll explore how archetypes evolve across the stages of life and how what your eyes mirror at 20 may not be what they call you to become at 40 or 60. Because your soul doesn't stagnate, it transforms. So turn on notifications if you want to walk deeper into this inner world with me. We're not done weaving. We're just beginning. Let your eyes now become guides. When you look in the mirror tomorrow, look deeper, not just for what you see, but for what is seeing through you. Your archetype isn't something you wear. It's what wears you until you awaken, reclaim it, and become its conscious carrier. And when you do, the whole world changes how it looks back at you.